There's a certain weight you carry, unnamed yet unmistakable. It presses down on your shoulders, even when you try to rest, as if peace must be earned. It whispers caution when you start to speak your truth. Beware, it's not safe yet. It pulls you back just as you begin to rise. An invisible tether, always felt but never seen. This isn't just your pain, your story alone. It's the residue of generations before you. Mothers silenced, fathers broken in silence. Ancestors who survived by turning away from their own souls. Carl Jung didn't label this weakness. He called it inheritance, not only through blood, but through the psyche, what he named the collective unconscious. If you've ever felt like a stranger in your own family, as if your story was meant to be different, know this: you're not broken. You might be the one destined to end what they couldn't, and this journey doesn't start by fixing, but by remembering, by seeing the wound clearly, perhaps for the first time. Jung taught us we're more than just our childhood experiences. We carry forgotten grief, silent longings, and rage unspoken, an inherited burden lodged deep in our collective unconscious. This includes not only archetypes, but the psychic residue of our ancestors, what psychologists call transgenerational trauma. It lives in our nervous system, in the way we flinch at love, silence ourselves to keep the peace, or overperform to earn a worth that was ours all along. Breaking this cycle isn't about blaming those who came before. It's about feeling what they could not bear, becoming conscious of unconscious patterns that ruled them. Jung named this individuation, the soul's path to becoming itself, free from family scripts, shadows, and masks. Often, individuation begins with rupture, when you no longer recognize yourself in the story you've been told to live. When you say, "This ends with me," not from pride, but from awakening. Awakening is quiet, uneasy, a heaviness that won't leave, a strange reflection, a moment when coping no longer suffices. You may never have named it, but inside you've always known. You were not born just to survive their pain. You were born to transform it. There are signs, subtle, sacred, that you are not the wound. You are chosen to heal it. Sign 1. You feel everything deeply, but not all belongs to you. There's a pain that predates you, carved into your bones. Called too sensitive, you cry at stories others dismiss. You sense unspoken things, overwhelmed by unnamed grief. This sensitivity is not weakness. It's your ancestral radar, tuned to what was buried. Jung believed the unconscious holds more than our wounds. It carries the unlived, silent lives of those before us. The collective unconscious holds generations of silence, sacrifice, shame, and you are the first to listen. You notice the heaviness in the house. Break at a story never finished. See in yourself echoes of every silenced woman before you. This is no curse. It's a calling. You're not feeling too much. You're feeling what they couldn't. Strong enough to hold the hidden. Brave enough to turn it into light. Healing begins here, not by shutting down, but by saying, "I feel it all and I won't run." Sign 2. You've always felt like the black sheep. Different. The one asking questions, breaking rules, making others uncomfortable just by being you. Called rebellious, dramatic, ungrateful, but this isn't rebellion, it's remembrance. Jung would say you're stepping outside the family complex, the unconscious web of roles and silence binding generations. And when you do, you're cast as outsider, not broken, but breaking free. The black sheep sees clearly, refuses numbness, feels ancestral pain's weight, and declares, "This stops with me." Being misunderstood hurts, but this solitude is sacred. It's the space where transformation begins. You're not lost. You're in initiation. One day, those who didn't understand may stand in the garden you grew from pain. But even if not, know this: leaving was your first act of self-love. You're not the black sheep. You're the cycle breaker. Sign 3. You're haunted by patterns you vowed never to repeat. You promised it would be different. No raised voices, no silenced truth, no staying small. Yet here you are, repeating their pain, their words, their wounds. How did this happen? It's not failure. It's shadow work in motion. Jung taught, what stays unconscious directs your life, seeming like fate. What we disown in our parents waits in our psyche's shadows, repeating stories until we're ready to see. Breaking the curse isn't perfection. It's awareness. Catching yourself mid-pattern, choosing again, even by inches. These moments are sacred. Apologizing instead of defending. Pausing before repeating. Crying from recognition, not shame. You're not cursed. You're conscious. Every time you soften the loop, you heal what ancestors could not. You don't erase the story. You rewrite its ending. Sign 4. You crave freedom more than approval. The old loyalty feels like a cage. You once needed approval like air, bending to fit, swallowing truth to keep peace. Now something shifts. You fear not disappointing them, but disappearing. You fear living their life instead of your own. This sacred betrayal is individuation, becoming yourself, even if it means stepping away from expectations. It's not dishonoring family, it's honoring your soul. Choosing freedom over approval carries guilt, silence, distance, but you gain sovereignty. You learn love without freedom isn't love, it's performance. You stop asking permission to be yourself. You grant it to yourself. This isn't selfish, it's sacred. By breaking expectations, you gift future generations authenticity and truth. You say, I don't owe obedience. I owe myself my life. Sign 5. You create what never existed before. Maybe you lacked softness, safety, or spaces where truth was welcome. Now, without a guide, you build them. You pause fights to listen, soothe your inner child when no one else did. You create a home, relationship, and self where love and truth coexist. Jung called this shadow integration, not rejecting the past, but transforming it. You reparent your inner child and your lineage, the mother who couldn't nurture, the father who left, the silence, the shame, the survival. You gather it all and make something new. Slow, lonely, sacred work. You may never get the apology or full understanding, but the life you build with tenderness, clarity, courage is your gift. You heal not just backward, you plant a future where love is safe. You are the garden once left fallow, now blooming. If these signs speak to you, if your soul quietly says yes, then it's time to lay something down. Awareness isn't the end, it's the threshold. Beyond insight lies integration. Healing requires release, and release needs witnessing what's carried. Find a quiet space. Write a letter to your inner ancestor, the one who never rested, cried, or became. Speak what they couldn't. Burn it. Let the smoke carry what no longer belongs. Whisper, it ends with me. Love begins again. Or ask gently, what am I still carrying that I can now release? Listen with your soul, not your mind. This is what it means to be the cycle breaker, to stop running, turn inward, meet silence, make it sacred. You are not cursed, you are chosen, not by fate, but by your courage to feel what others buried, name what had no voice, soften what hardened in your lineage. You shatter patterns and gather pieces, not to rebuild the old, but to create new, a legacy of truth, a bloodline of wholeness. Within this sanctuary of the psyche, remember, you heal not just for yourself, you rewrite generations' soul story.